What's up, y'all, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going through another PSA return. This one's going to be for the month of September. There's some cool stuff in here. I'm excited to kind of go through this and show you guys what I'm be submitting this month. Nice variety, a lot of modern. I think I've kind of learned my lesson after that last submission I got back. Don't really want to be grading a ton of vintage. Obviously, also grade some here and there, but for the most part, I'm going to be sticking with modern. So we're gonna start out with a Japanese alternate art Beedrill. Really cool hollow pattern on this one. I really enjoy, or a texture pattern I should say, kind of the look of this card. Honestly, a card that I'd be tempted to keep myself. I picked this one up for around 20 bucks, and I think 10s go for right around 70, so there's a little bit of a margin in there. And I just think it's a really cool card. There is a small white nick. You'll see it right there in the upper middle. That could hold it back from a 10. I'm hoping it doesn't. That's such a small little imperfection, but it is certainly possible. If it does, that will be a bummer, but I still think, given the overall good centering and otherwise good condition of that card, it's worth sending. The next three are going to be the same card. This one is the Radiant Charizard from Japanese Pokemon Go. All these are relatively well-centered copies of the card. This one, you can see here has a little bit off left to right, but for PSA, you really only have to be within that 60-40 parameter. This is going to be right along on that line, but I do think it is within. Card is otherwise perfect, which I think bodes well for it getting that 10. The next two are very similar. This one, top to bottom, is a little off, but it's not. I think it's totally fine. I think, especially top to bottom, they tend to be a little bit more lenient on centering, and it otherwise looks really nice. Last one, tiny bit off left to right, but even less than the first one. Top to bottom actually looks really good on this one. Well-centered card, and no whiting. So hoping I at least hit a couple 10s of those three, hopefully all 10s, and they'll be headed off to PSA. Now we've got the Leafeon V alternate art. This one goes for quite a bit in a 10. And this copy definitely looks 10 worthy to me. No print lines or scratches on the hollow foil, and no whitening on the back. So it certainly looks really good, and I'll be sending that one off. Next are a few lower value celebrations cards. These could go up in value at any point. I feel like they're really, really cool cards. I love the reprint of that base set artwork. With 151 coming out, maybe that will drive the value of celebrations down. But it could also, maybe make people a little bit nostalgic for celebrations. There is a tiny, tiny white nick in that corner, but this card otherwise looks great. And it's a well-centered copy of that Pikachu art. These are also, very low value cards. These Surfing Pikachu, Flying Pikachu VMAXs, but they're in really good condition. They're coming from my personal collection. I don't really have any cost basis on them other than what it's going to cost to grade them. So I'm hoping to hit some 10s and move these out of my collection because I've got plenty of them, honestly. There's just a few. You can kind of consider it filler, kind of filling out the submission to do that 20 cards. They should get 10s, which will kind of, push them from being $2 cards to me making like $5 or $6 on the card. Really not a huge difference, but for something that I have no cost basis on, I may as well grade them. Next up, we've got a card from my personal collection. This is the Blaine's Arcanine. I've showed this one on a previous video. It looks really nice. It's actually a pretty well-centered copy also. Left to right, it is a little off, but maybe a little bit too much for the 10, but it actually looks really, really good. I think this actually has a chance at a 10. It's not impossible, so that's kind of cool. I would guess a 9, but it has a chance at the 10. A couple more Radiant Alakazams. This is about, I think, the end of what I'm going to be grading for Radiant Alakazam. 75-cent card. They go for like 35 bucks in a 10. That price could certainly come down. If so, I'll just hang on to these. They're kind of cool. And yeah, they're 75 cents each. So just grading some. I think they're a really cool card. And I'm happy to have some of those ready to put on my eBay store or keep for my personal collection. This one is so crooked. It's bothered me. I know a few of them have been crooked. Let's just do that. Okay, so we've got the Lapras. This one's from Beastar Universe. Some of these art rares have really awesome backgrounds. I really like this one in particular. Well centered, looks nice. I'm curious, this one has like a little bit of a rough cut. I've seen some 10s of Japanese cards still get a 10 with that, so I'm hoping that it will. I've got, you know, around 5 cards that are like that, and I'm grading a couple of them here to see how it goes. You know, if they get 10s, then I'll probably grade the others in the next submission. These are from that large $700 collection I bought a while back. If you have watched videos on my channel for a while, you'll have heard me talk about it a few times. Like that one a lot too. All right, then we have some celebrations. I actually think this is the only celebrations card I'm grading in this set. I guess other than the Pikachus I had earlier. Well-centered Venusaur. Certainly looks like a 10 to me. So I'll be sending that one out. Next one up, this one's a card I'm grading for my friend. It's the first edition Dark Charizard non-holo, which has some good value in 8 or higher grade. No holo really to worry about. And it otherwise actually looks really nice. There wasn't really many scratches on the card. A little bit of whitening here along the bottom corner and that corner. Could bring it down to a 7, but I don't think it's crazy to think that this card could get an 8, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for my friend on that one. Okay, next up, this one is a Jolteon from Pop Series 3. Honestly, really cool card. Really, to me, kind of an underrated card. This is a pretty cheap card. I think it only goes for like 15 bucks, even in near mint condition. Which this one's in near mint condition for sure. Looks nice. There is some bottom corner whitening there. You know, might bump it down to an 8. I'm hoping it can get a 9, but it certainly could get an 8. And even at an 8, I think my cost in this card I am in for this card at right now is $8 or like something like that. So, or I guess less, like $5. So I'm not into this card for much. And you know, I could get a 9 and I could do pretty well on it. Next up, we've got Pokemon Center Lady. This one has, oh, nothing on the front, actually. The front on this one looks really good. But on the back, you can kind of see this tiny little white dot. The centering might not, or the, here, let's see if I can focus. Yep, there it is. Is that enough to bring it down to a 9? I'm hoping because it's on the back, this card will still get a 10. Remember, 10s don't have to actually be perfect cards. They just have to be in gem mint condition, which means, you know, very few flaws and flaws that do not take away from the overall eye appeal of the card. And I think a tiny white dot on the back of an otherwise perfect card, it to me is still a gem mint 10. Gyarados EX, this one actually looks great, which is Scarlet and Violet. There's some serious issues with the print quality. This one is extremely well centered and it has no whitening, so I was excited to see that. Seems like a pretty good grading candidate. I think that little white speck is just some dust. Next up is the Rayquaza VMAX. I've graded this before. It's a cool card. Price has actually come down on this one a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that focus was out. But price has actually come down on the Rayquaza VMAX, which is a little bit of a bummer. I think it's a really cool card. I'd like to see it continue to do well. I think that is on the case. Yep. Top to bottom on the back is a little off, but the PSA is even more lenient on back centering, and that I think is even within the 60-40 parameter. So I think that one should get a 10. Not an expensive card in a 10 though, still only like 45 bucks. This one you will have seen if you watched my most recent PSA return. This is a Gold Mew. My friend pulled this card, and he got it graded. I really thought it would get a 10. So did he. I bought it off of him for the price of the 9 though, because I really think it's going to get a 10. Is it worth it financially for me to buy the card off of him and resubmit it, crack it, resubmit it? Probably not. You know, at most I'm going to make like 20, 30 bucks, 25 bucks maybe. Probably not even 30. And I could stand to lose some money on it if it comes back a 9, obviously. I would just lose that grading submission, plus, you know, I'd have to pay eBay some fees to sell it. So it's really just either it comes back a 9, I lose, or it comes back a 10 and I win, and I'm hoping it is the latter. So we'll see. I'm excited to see how this one goes. And that's it. That's what I'll be submitting. That's the 20 cards I'm sending off in the month of September. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be sending them off probably tomorrow or early next week. And yeah, I hope to see you on the next video.